Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's your boy Jay Taylor. Voices for the voiceless. Hope y'all can hear me. Hope y'all can hear me, man. Peace and blessings, everybody. As the title says, my thoughts on Ghislaine Maxwell speaking to the DOJ. But let's get to it. So, as you know, Ghislaine Maxwell is the girlfriend, quote unquote, of Jeffrey Epstein. And we got this whole uproar out here about the Epstein files and this, that, and the third. And, I try to stay away from this subject, but it just won't seem to go away. And one of the biggest fumbles of the Trump's administration so far is this whole Epstein thing with, the files and this. Because I feel like this. Trump talked too much about that during this campaign. And that did a number of things. It could have affected a number of things. One being that if you're running on a campaign, letting it be known that you're going to expose the Epstein files, that's giving the current administration that was in office at the time, the previous administration, the heads up. So if a file that has all of these billionaires and very important, powerful people involved that have incriminating information on them, then why would you give them the heads up, knowing that you about to take office? So that campaign promise wasn't necessary, and it also, if the files did exist, which I'm having a hard time thinking that a file with incriminating information with people names that are powerful would exist. That's why I never really got off into the whole Epstein thing, because it just never made sense to me. But we know that there is, because see, they gonna get rid of that ASAP. If they got incriminating information, Joe Biden and them was just in office. Whatever information the Trump administration would have had access to, the Biden administration had access to it. So miss me with the whole Trump was on the list, because if Trump was on the list, as much as they threw the book at him, they would have charged him. They would have found a way to charge Donald Trump if he had anything incriminating. Now, we know him and Jeffrey Epstein, just like other prominent billionaires, were cool at one point, but they had a falling out. Trump kicked them out of Mar-a-Lago at a party for some mischievous behavior back in the 1990s. So they really haven't been cool. I know he said he wished Ghislaine Maxwell well when she went to prison, and I don't find that nothing wrong with that. If she had anything to do with, well, she's been convicted and she's been sentenced to 20 years. If she had anything to do with allegedly with Jeffrey Epstein and minors on the island and things like that, well, she's been held accountable. So hey, I wish you well. I've met you a few times. You seem like a cool lady to me. I don't know. So I don't see nothing wrong with him saying that. But let's dive off into Ghislaine Maxwell and this whole, she speaking with Trump's Department of Justice. That's the DOJ, by the way, in the title, the Department of Justice. So I feel like this: if they could confirm, that she's telling them the truth, and they said that she spoke with them not once but twice, the Department of Justice, and she's given up over 100 names of high-profile individuals, be it celebrities or politicians or actors or sports people. I mean, just you could just imagine who was all involved, right? If they can prove that she's telling the truth, I think she has some type of limited immunity. Her case is a very weird case to begin with, because when Jeffrey Epstein was going to trial, she was granted immunity. She was granted immunity, but she still was charged. You know, now I'm not advocating for her or nothing like that. But if you are granted immunity, unless you, I'm not sure, I never really followed that case, but unless she, breached a clause in her immunity, then why would she be charged? So Jeffrey Epstein was sentenced to a lot more than 20 years. She was only given 20, so she's more like an accomplice, but she had an immunity deal with that, but they still ended up locking her up. So now the DOJ is offering her some type of limited immunity for more information. And I think she's the perfect person to ask. I would have someone but see, now she got to sign a form that says if she lies, then she's going to get a stiff penalty. If they find out she's lying, they're going to give her more time instead of less time. But if she's telling the truth and it actually leads to people getting arrested, then she might get some leniency on her case. She might, she got like 12 years left. They might chop that in half, or give her something, because she ain't talking for free. Now I know that some of the names that came out involved were Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton. They say that they were very much involved with this, way more than what they're trying to say with Donald Trump. Trump might have been on, at a few parties. He might have hopped a few flights, but he said he never been on that island. They saying Bill and Hillary allegedly were on that island. I'm not saying they were. I'm not saying they not. Allegedly. That's crazy. So Ghislaine Maxwell is the missing link to what the Epstein files should entail. She was there. If she's telling you the truth, she could tell you exactly what happened. And I said that on the previous video. Ghislaine Maxwell, they need to, I would call her before Congress. Let the whole world hear what she got to say. Televise it, make it public. Hey, we want full transparency. This is a mute argument. This is a mute issue. Whatever happened, it's unfortunate if children were, abused. I'm never for that. I'm never trying to turn a blind eye to the abuse of anybody, especially small children or young adults or anybody. But I just don't see this rabbit hole, going any further. I think that whatever list that Trump promised to expose, I think it's either been destroyed or compromised, because nothing else makes any sense. When you got people that were allegedly on the list in office or connected to the office, why would they sit there knowing Trump finna come in and he's promising to expose it, and they just leave it there for him? It doesn't make any sense. That list, to me, is long gone if it ever existed. Because another thing is, why would somebody that's doing criminal behavior, such as a certain type of abuse towards children, why would they document it? It just doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm interested to hear what Ghislaine Maxwell has to say. I think she's been in there, 5-6 years now? And that would be the perfect person, if she's truthful, to get what's missing from the Epstein files. You know what I'm saying? And that should seal the deal. Now she could do one of many things. She can sit up there and try to lie, which would ultimately, perjure herself and cost her more time in jail, or she could tell the truth, and that truth could be incriminating to certain people. If it leads to any arrest of people, you know, she can just, But they said she answered every question. She could either incriminate people or give people the illusion to say that they were there. If you get what I'm saying, you know, she could kind of insinuate opposed to substantiate certain people's level of involvement. If you catch my drift, so it all depends on how she answered the question. She seems like a pretty sharp lady, but yeah, man, this is my thoughts on it. We just waiting to see what's gonna happen. But hey, it's your boy Jay Taylor, voicing for the voiceless. We love y'all. We're gonna keep you updated. And until next time, we should see you soon. Peace and blessings.